Chris that I could go with him. The pastor would understand if I didn't bring the offering message today. And he said, somebody needs to hear this word and you need to get your hiney to church. So I'm here. So thank you, Pastor, for giving me the opportunity. And I just wanted to share with you about giving today. Gift giving is an act of love, and a gift can be monetary or it can be an act of service. It can be multiple things, but it should always be done from your heart. I know that the tithe is a tenth, and I know that there are 3 types of giving that we're really familiar with: the tithe, first fruits, alms. Jesse Duplantis says there's a 4th type, and it's seed giving, which is talked about in Mark 4:39. All forms of giving come with promises. If you're not into rewards and promises and you don't agree with anything I'm saying, feel free to contact Pastor, and he'll take care of that. The ultimate love and sacrifice was God's love for you and me. The ultimate offering wasn't even money. It was a price that could not be paid in currency. Judas soon learned that 30 pieces of silver wasn't anything for the amount of betrayal that he had committed. I want you to go with me on a journey for just a few minutes. God created Adam and Eve in his image out of love. He created them to love him and so that he could fellowship with them. Imagine walking and talking with God. The enemy came and seduced them into sin. Sin separated them from God. But God's love did not change for them. He longed for mankind. He could have made the rocks love him if he would have wanted to, but he wants us to love him, not because we have to, but because we choose to. Sometimes I think it'd be easier if God would just make me do certain things instead of giving me free will. His love was so strong, so unconditional, and so full of grace and mercy, and he had a new plan to send Jesus to redeem us. We've had some personal things going on in our family personally. There's been a lot of heartbreak lately, and my husband had to remind me that no matter what we've done or what anyone has done to us, that God's grace loves us right now, right where we are, for who we are, no matter what we've done. He loves us. It's not condoning the sin. We're not talking about that right now. There are consequences that come with that, but we're talking about unconditional love. He loved us so much that he did send Jesus. The Word became flesh and dwelt among man. I was a mom at 14, believe it or not, with that pretty little girl right there. And so I don't know if it's just because of the Christmas season or just things in our lives, but I've been thinking about life and family and kids. And it also has me thinking about Joseph and Mary and Jesus. It was scary enough for me to be pregnant at 14, so I can't imagine how Mary felt, trying to convince your fiancé that you didn't have relations with anybody else, or Joseph for being ridiculed and having to walk in love and still believe Mary, what she said was true. Fast forwarding, then being warned in dreams to take Mary and the baby and leave and flee to keep the baby safe. And it wasn't like they were walking around the block. They had to flee. That beautiful baby, Jesus, was born with 10 tiny fingers and toes. And he came with a purpose, and that purpose was us. Joseph and Mary, did you know that your baby boy would be the Lord of all creation, that he came to save the nations? Do you ever think about that baby spoke his first words? And what were they? Was it mama? Was it dada? He took his first steps. He did all of those things. He grew from a toddler into a child. He had birthdays. When he was 12, during their annual pilgrimage to Jerusalem, which was a 3-day journey, on their way back, they realized he was missing. I can't even imagine. We have FaceTime, we have texting, we have all of these things, but can you imagine being a full day's journey away and realizing your son is missing? After 3 days, they found him, which I thought was interesting, on the 3rd day. Fast forward to adult Jesus, still Joseph and Mary's baby boy. Though an adult, he was perfect, and yet he was betrayed, he was convicted, he was sentenced to death. The word says that he was not recognizable when they were finished beating him. The nails through his hands and feet. He was crucified on the cross. for sins that he did not commit. I've been thinking a lot about that, but I know that it wasn't just the nails that held him on the cross. It was his obedience to God for what he was called to do, and it was his love and compassion for us. How it breaks my heart as a mother thinking of all of this unfolding in front of Mary's eyes. Finally, the silence, the mourning, the burial. But on the third day, he rose. He defeated hell and the grave, and he did it for you, and he did it for me. And that is an offering of love that is unparalleled. He gave us the choice whether or not to love him back. We are supposed to give alms and offerings and tithes. Why are we supposed to do it? We're supposed to do it out of love. If you aren't giving, this is not a message of condemnation. It's a message of love and mercy, because true love will lead us to obedience. So give what you need to give. We need to give our everything, our kids, our husbands, our wives, our lives, our money. And we're supposed to do it out of love. So bring your love offering to the Lord.